Okay, so moving on. I remember explaining standard form to you, and I was saying is basically how we express very large or very small, tiny numbers. So, example of a number that would be very large that we would have to shorten would be the distance of you to Mars or space or something like that. And something that would be very small would be maybe the size of a cell, the size of bacteria, stuff like that. So the reason why it's important, other than shortening the number, would basically be to avoid making mistakes when you're writing numbers. As we were discussing in class too, I was saying 1 0 in the life of a bank worker or something like that could cause a big discrepancy within the company, because you could give somebody an extra 100,000, you could give somebody 100,000 less. So 1 0 plays a very significant role, an important role, and it's important that we figure out how to properly write or express these numbers. So that's where standard form would be useful, right? So 6.7 by 10 to the power 4, that is a very large number. So it'd be 67,000. So when you're about to write 67,000, you have a small room for mistakes in writing it, which is why you want to know how to state it in standard form instead of just writing 0 0 0 0. You could write 10 to the power 4. So that's the importance, and that's why we're learning it. And here I have examples where I show you how to jump, and the jumping is what I just use to make it easier for me to know what power to put. So instead of counting the spaces, which will be a little difficult, you could jump. So if I was to say express 500, it's a tiny number compared to what we would actually be doing. But if I say 500, express it in standard form. And remember, I was telling you in class that in standard form, the first number must be between 1 and 10. So, first we're going 500 is not between 1 and 10. If we jump 1, 50 is not between 1 and 10. 5 is between 1 and 10. So, 5 by 10 to the power 2 jumps is the same thing as 500. So, this is a positive number, meaning it have no negative sign or whatever. And that is the explanation for conversion to standard form with regards to positive numbers, right? So, let me do something a little larger. So, let me do 1 0 4 6 8. We want to express this as standard form, right? We jump in 1 2 3 4 5. So it'll be 1.04680 by 10 to the power of, how much times we jump away? 1 2 3 4 5 6. No, 5. We jump 5 times. So that's how we convert that. So you can look over your examples that I gave to you in class. Let me know if anything confusing. I'm gonna remove the jump, update the notes, remove the jumps from these, just so it won't be too confusing. So in case you just want to know like what was the original number before, you don't understand, you know. So hopefully you understand better now. And you have the example with Hogwarts down here. And I ask you, so we had a question just like this in the assignment, which I see you didn't manage to get correct, but I put the answer next to it, right? So don't worry about that. And this table here, you should rework this table. Try your best to do it in order to fully grasp standard form. So here we have negative and we have positive. But it's hard for you to see the original number because I realized I drew the jumps when you was doing it in class. So I'll erase that for you so you can see what you're working with, right? And you draw the jumps yourself when it's time for you to practice. Okay, so I'm just gonna run through very quick with you. The first one is 0.00056, very small number. So this could be the size of a strand of hair or something, a measurement that's super tiny. You want to express that in standard form or index number. Index number basically meaning a number that have an index. We learn about indices, we learn about index numbers. So if you could observe here, we jump in to make the first number between 1 and 10, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps. 5.6 by 10 to the minus 4 is minus 4 because the number is super small. If your number is super small, power negative. If your number is super big, the power is positive. It makes sense because the jump does indicate whether you're jumping right or you're jumping left. So this is where it's about to get a little confusing, right? So you make sure and you listen and you pay attention. You're jumping right, I say it's a bigger number, is positive, which means you're adding to the number on your right side. So if we say we jump in right because the number positive, it means we jump in what, like if you say it's 5 jumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, real big number, you see, because we add into the right side. But if you say it's 5 by 10 to the power negative 5, right? Negative means we jump into the left side. So we go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Point here. That means a real small number. So hopefully that makes some sense to you. I put a little note here saying if you jump backwards to each decimal point, then the power negative. So hopefully you understand what I mean by positive means we push in right. Negative indices means we going back, right? So hopefully you remember that. Hopefully that makes sense. The second one is 0.000073. So that is already confusing because now you're seeing the importance of standard form because I almost mixed up how much zeros we have there. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps we make, right? So that's negative 6 because the number tiny. Numbers, I say small numbers, very small numbers, negative powers. So as you can see, to get between 1 and 10 is 7.3 by 10 to the minus 6. Hopefully I'm making sense to you. And then positive numbers, we jump in to the right. So 1.6 by 10 to the 5, we write down the 1.6, we jump in to the right. It's positive, right jumping, negative, left jumping. Hope you understand that. So try to do this by yourself. And as I put little indications here, like if you see negative, you're jumping left. If you see positive, you're jumping right. Hope you understand now a little better, and bye. See you next class.